Oh, no! Oh, that's great. Okay, well, come up on me then. Come up on me then. Carol, you blew the secret. Okay, you're not allowed to say it looks like me. You're not allowed to say, remember this, monkeys? Remember when we were doing this? Wait, we should zoom in a little bit. Okay, all right. So I know I shouldn't be smiling, and yeah, I mean, I told you guys Amendment 1 was going to pass, right? I told you, and I said I would call it victory if it was 55-45. So I lost 2. I lost 2. He lost 2. He did. Oh, wait, let's hold the monkey. Or he's not even a monkey. He totally looks like me. I was at the bargain box. I was at the, oh yeah, even more. Look at that exact duplicate, you know. I was at the bargain box a couple days ago, and Jane, this wonderful woman who I see at the bargain box, was holding this, and I was like, oh, please tell me you are not buying that. And she wasn't. So we're back with the puppets, monkeys. So we told you last week, you know, I didn't want to ruin anybody's parade or anything, that hopefulness, but kids, there really was very little chance that this was ever not going to pass. I told you this last week, right? Okay, so, and people tend to underreport their bigotry on polls. I told you that last week too, and sure enough, the vote was 60-40, right? Or 61-39, whatever. I mean, but Carol, this is where people say, Todd, you're so optimistic and positive all the time. They do. They say to me, I am defending myself currently on vicious internet arguments, or at least I was, you know, after the vote, you know, on Metafilter and other places. I was defending myself. I was saying, look, y'all, and Twitter. I was even on Twitter just, you know, furiously correcting people, saying, look. No, actually not like that. It was more like, look, y'all, I don't know what your perspective is on this arc of general positiveness of gay and lesbian acceptance in America. But I came out, let's see, I had lots of private gay kisses, but my first public gay kiss out on the quad in college was about 1985. So it was such a cute story. Can I tell the cute story of my first public gay kiss, Carol? Oh, you guys are going to love this. Okay. So, I was still technically straight at that point. No, just before I was technically straight. Met a wonderful woman, feminist woman. Diane was her name. She was doing writers' workshops for poor women. You know the whole liberal bit. She was wonderful. But Carol, when she got married to the guy I introduced her to, by the way, she did the whole full-on proper bridal white wedding, and I was like, I'm gay, and I had sex with her. What's she doing in white? Up on I didn't say that, but it was really funny. But anyway, so what is it with women who have that deep-seated wedding thing, Carol, don't they? I don't get it. It's deep-seated. It's really deep-seated. So anyway, she was wonderful, really feminist, really strong and feminist, not just in the verbal, mental way, like actually going out there and doing something. So anyway, eventually, actually pretty quickly in the relationship, I was coming out to myself and some other things. I told her I was bi, and then I actually told her, well, you know, there are times when we're enjoying each other's company, I'm thinking about guys sometimes, right? And then from there, she was like, it was tough. I was choked up. It was really one of the hardest conversations I've had. Not quite as hard as coming out to my dad, but it was really, really, really one of the hardest conversations I had. So a couple days later, Carol, she comes up to me and says, you know, I really don't want to introduce you to my last boyfriend. She must have had a thing for the sensitive guys that turned out to be gay, right? And sure enough, we hit it off right away as soon as she did, which I will never, you know, could never thank her enough for. It was really wonderful. We were out on the back porch of the Palace of Blood. This was Gothland, you know. I went from the fraternity system into like living in the Palace of Blood with fans of Joy Division and punk rock and all that. But anyway, yeah. Long story short, after, you know, we met, we hit it off really well. I swept a wasp off his shoulder. That was the thing that clinched it, Carol. And then, wonderful, my first sex with a real guy. It was just so beautiful, you know, a whole guy, a real guy. And then I'm sleeping a week later out on the quad, Carol, sleeping under a tree after being up all night for something. I don't know why I'm choosing this moment to tell my first public gay kiss story, but it kind of makes sense. So we're on the back porch of the Palace of Blood. I'm really nervous because, you know, he's really cute and he seems to be into me, and you know that feeling, right? When someone's really kind of cute and seems to be into you, and you're like, I better be on my best behavior, which of course totally screws up your natural best behavior, right? That's just how it works for me. So the more interested you are in somebody, the more like nervous you get. Yeah, y'all can relate to that. I don't care if you're gay or straight. Tom Tillis can even relate to that. So long story short, I noticed that there's this ginormous, just evil-looking wasp just crawling around all over his shoulder blade, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't show it, right? So I'm just like, I look at him and say, hey, don't move, and he's like, okay, and he totally trusts me in that moment. That was the moment I knew we were having sex, Carol, and he probably did too. I said, don't move, and he just stood stock still. And then I just casually reached over, and this wasp, Carol, it was 8 feet wide. I swear to God, and I just brushed it off gently, because you don't want to anger wasps, right? I just kind of moved my hand across it fast enough that it went, oh, something's in the way, and it flew off. Like a nice wasp. Like wasps can be nice, which was news to me, right? So I was worried. And then there was just this moment where we looked at each other, and then we moved on with the conversation. And that night, of course, we had sex, which was my first, you know, sex with a whole gay guy for the first time in my life. Personality and everything, as opposed to kind of casual, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so anyway, a week later, I was up all night studying for some useless garbage, and those of you who've just finished finals week at NC State know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, oh, why am I doing this? But it's good, it's for your future. Excuse me, I just got over this cold. And Carol, I am not giving you a cold. She's like, yeah. No, Carol, stop thinking about that. I couldn't not do the show the day after Amendment 1. I'm sleeping under a tree, and I wake up, and he's leaning over me, about to leave a note on my chest. And he's mad, Carol. He's mad because I ruined his perfect secret plan, right? And then I just look at him, and he's over me with the note, and he's like, ah. And then boom, there we were, making out in the middle of the quad. And Carol, that's when I came out publicly to myself, really. I was just like, bam, I'm out. And you know what? Once you do that, there's no going back. Now, kids, I know some of you are in situations, if you read The Independent last week, there were stories from young gay and lesbian kids, teenagers, who when they came out to their parents, there's one in particular, his father gave him 30 minutes to leave the house. Did you read that, Carol? In The Independent last week. It's online. They're We Are Queer. And you know something? I wish The Independent had a better cover designer, because their covers are just so deathly dull. Their covers are just like the dull, oh, we are queer, get used to it, blah. It's like, no. This was a really gripping series of young gay kids from like 15 up to 22 talking about their coming out process in various parts of the mountains and the small towns all over North Carolina. This kid's dad gave him 30 minutes, a teenager, to leave the house after he came out to his mom and dad. Now, when I see the vote and I see pictures like this, Carol, can we check this, do this picture here? Say it again. Oh. Okay, when you get a chance, I would love to show this picture. This was in the front page of the NNO today, right? That's the anti-gay preacher who spreads the gerbil story and the story about the cell phone. A gay man with a cell phone stuck up his butt on the operating table to get it out, and the cell phone started ringing. That is the man who told that vicious lie of a story. That is his wife. They lead a church in Raleigh called the Upper Room. And I think of that kid given 30 minutes to leave his house by his dad. And then I look at this jerk celebrating the denial of basic equality under the law for everybody. An African-American man in the 21st century celebrating, yeah, the denial of basic civil rights for everybody in America. And I think of what is the effect of this picture. Let's just get, you see that? What is the effect of that picture on the front page of the NNO on that young gay or lesbian kid? It's disgusting. to be celebrated. And then the whole, you know, the other celebrations where people were, yay, we're going to cut it. They cut a wedding cake at one place, Carol. There was a gallery of photos at the NNO site. Oh, we got a call? They cut a wedding cake when it became clear that Amendment 1 had passed. What a slap, right? But don't let it get you down, kids. It's the last gasp. That's all I'm suggesting. Yes, hi, you're on the air.
Hey there.
Hi.
Yeah, well, here's my thing. I see you against the amendment and all. And,
No, basic equality for everybody.
Well, here's my point, though. But I got some other amendments. Now we got this one passed. Here's my Amendment 2 and 3 coming at you.
Oh, boy, I'm so excited.
Amendment 2, we're going to ban divorce in this state because the Bible is clear on divorce. You don't get divorced. You're married to the first woman you're married to, and that's the only one you're married to.
Wow, you're great.
And then the second one we're coming at, no more flesh meat going to be sold in this state of North Carolina ever again.
No more what?
Flesh meat.
What is flesh meat?
Flesh meat. Non-kosher meat, man. We ain't going to eat none of them shellfish or nothing in North Carolina.
Oh.
The Bible says it ain't allowed. and then the next thing is
I thought he was serious.
Ain't going to be circumcised in this state.
Everybody what?
Absolutely clear on circumcision, man. You got to be circumcised to be of the Lord. So that's amendments right there. And I believe there's even something in the Bible about women not talking in church. So we're going to pass that one. So there's 4 amendments for it. How's that grab?
I like them.
Comments off the air.
I like it. Thanks, man. I like them all. I thought he was serious with the divorce thing, Carol. I thought it was like, oh my God, the parody and the satire is so like twisted that I actually thought you were serious. Because the reality is that that's what they want. Fornication's next. Divorce is next. When people say when they don't want, and by they, I mean the Christian organization that Tom Tillis said overruled him when he wanted to make the language of the amendment narrow. The Christian organization, the Christian legal help group from some state elsewhere that Tom Tillis admitted overruled him on the language of the amendment that we voted on in North Carolina. That was his words to the Fayetteville Observer last week, right? You can look it up. They don't want any kind of civil union. They don't want any kind of legal arrangement for straight people either. They want to force people into marriage. They want to force it. You know, Carol, most of America's single, or half of America's single, right? Half. And yet they have this image of this 2-parent household with 2.5 kids that's never been the majority of American households. Never. Never. It's always been extended families and people coming and going and someone dies and somebody does this and that. It's always been this kind of weird mix of people. This myth that they have in their head that they want to force everyone into, it's really what they want to do. So fornication, divorce, yeah, those things are coming. That's what, well, they want them to come. But remember when some of the anti-gay preachers, Carol, you were saying one, was saying that no, we're not going to go after domestic partnerships, right? We're not going to go after any of the, here, can you? No one is going to lose their health insurance. That's right. Here we go. James Edges Driggs, right? District 6 Mecklenburg Board of County Commissioners. He's already pushing Mecklenburg County, which has these domestic partnership benefits, to scrap its policy that provides domestic partner health insurance benefits to employees in same-sex relationships. Nobody's going to lose their health insurance, was what the preacher said. There it is. Health insurance benefits. He's already immediately, right at the day after the election, going after it. Now that Amendment 1 has passed, he says in an email, it obviously is illegal to offer this benefit as there is now only one domestic legal union recognized in the state. So what does that mean? That means no health insurance. Right? Yeah. There you go. We told you this was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen. Now, the number of people affected may be small, but that doesn't matter. All right. So, now, the new thing, oh, we also have to say something about Coble. Can we say something about, oh, yeah. Oh, kids, remember. You can get through this, right? And today we had the President of the United States saying he's in favor of same-sex marriage. Kind of. Yeah, we're going to talk about Obama's slipperiness here in a little bit because he thinks he's being clever, but it's really transparent. Did you see the Onion article today, Carol? This morning, the Onion, the satirical newspaper out of, well, they were out of Wisconsin, now they're out of New York, now they're moving back to Chicago. The Onion did an article where President Obama attacked President Obama's vacillation on gay marriage. That showed up this morning. And then a few days later, or I'm sorry, a few hours later, Obama comes out with this. I kind of thought that was funny. He's now in favor of same-sex marriage. I need the monkey for this one. Can we do the monkey for this one? All right, all right, all right. We need the monkey for this one because Obama deserves the monkey. I have no voice left. Oh, look at that. You cannot say a thing about how similar this is to me. That's just not, you're not allowed to say that. Okay. Need the voice to be different. How's that? We're going to get better as we go on. So, oh yeah, the hands. I got to remember that. So the President of the United States comes out against, or no, in favor, against, what? What's he doing? What'd he say? He said he's in favor of same-sex marriage. Except that the states should be allowed to vote on it. Yeah, the states, which we just had yesterday, right? What kind of positive is this? What kind of positive is this? Huh? Obama says, I'm personally in favor of same-sex marriage, but the states should decide democratically. What does that mean? That means your civil rights, gay monkeys, and my civil rights as a gay monkey are up for popular vote. Carol, wasn't that one of the slogans of our movement? Civil rights not up for a vote. No. No civil rights up for a vote. And yet, here's the president in what is presented to us, Carol, as a bold new step for freedom, saying, I'm in favor of gay marriage, but the states should decide. You know who else said this, Carol? Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney, 2004. President Barack Obama, in his quest for gay dollars for his re-election campaign, has just courageously come out with the same, boy, this is hard. This is hard, Carol. Don't judge me. Don't judge me, damn it. This is hard work. I got to find a way to support my arm. Okay, so Barack Obama just came out courageously with the same position Dick Cheney came out with in 2004. 2004. Yep. We're supposed to be happy? Happy with this? No way. No. I mean, it's a step. It's nice. It would have been nicer a month ago. But Carol, it still takes courage. It still took some political courage. But really what he's doing is he's trying to get progressives excited about him again. He's trying to galvanize his base. Gay marriage galvanizes the right-wing base. Obama's, I'm evolving. I'm evolving. No, you're turning into a slug. You're de-evolving. His I'm evolving stance didn't work to galvanize his base. So just the fact that Obama said, I need to galvanize my base with some mambly-pambly blah, 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 about how much I personally support gay marriage, but think that bigots should be allowed to outvote it democratically in a way that black civil rights weren't allowed to be voted on. That's just wrong. We're supposed to accept this as some kind of huge advance? It's politics. All right, ow. I'll get used to more of that. And you know, I don't know that I like this kind of he's got a kind of like, expression. I think I need to change his eyebrows. What do you think, Carol?
I think it's okay.
All right. I'm sorry, I'm not really excited about Barack Obama's new stance on gay marriage. It's a step, kind of. But again, all he's done is said exactly what Dick Cheney said in 2004. I think it took more guts for Dick Cheney to say it in 2004 than it takes for Obama to say it now. And people are saying, oh, he's really risking, you know, blah, blah, losing North Carolina or this or that. You know what? If he did a full court press on it, we could change this year. Instead, he's doing these half-assed maneuvers, and it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. It doesn't work to get me very excited. But apparently, it's enough for all the wealthy gay, you know, donors in the Democratic Party to start handing over their checks again. There's a quote. If you go to my Twitter page, there's a quote from one of the bundlers of the Obama campaign. They have these people they hire to bundle a lot of contributions and send it to the campaign, right? And he's like, oh, this is going to make it, you know, much, much easier. I'm like, really? That's all it took? Is Barack Obama to say the same thing that Dick Cheney said in 2004? And then remember, here's the key. He's not saying, maybe there's some kind of reason he can't say that he thinks there's a constitutional right for everybody to be treated the same way under the law. Maybe because the case will end up in the Supreme Court, but here's the key thing. Right now, California's version of Amendment 1 from a few years back, Proposition 8, is being challenged by 2 gay men. And that's winding its way through the courts. And Barack Obama's current position is against the position of the 2 gay men in California who are trying to make a constitutional challenge. Not just, well, it's the right thing to do, but states should decide, which is complete nonsense. There's no voters should decide on basic constitutional principles. That's where this is going to be decided. The basic U.S. constitutional right to be treated, everyone to be treated the same way by the laws. Barack Obama's new position, which is going to dominate the headlines, a day after, I kind of see it as a slap in the face, Carol.
It felt like a slap to me.
Carol says it felt like a slap in the face to her, too. It feels like a slap that he waited until the day after. Now, maybe it was because Joe Biden forced his hand on it, but it doesn't matter to me. You know, they didn't want him. You can see his political advisors. You know how they whisper in his ear? There, this is what they were doing. They were saying, hey, Barack, listen, don't come out before the vote. If you come out before the vote, you'll be seen as a loser. If it loses, it's going to lose. They knew, like we knew it was going to, you know, that the amendment was going to pass. So you're going to lose. Don't do it before the vote. Wait till after the vote. And then, when things have settled a little bit, just go ahead and, you know, that's what his political advisors are telling him, right? And that's what he did. Now, from a politician's perspective, you can praise that. From a strategist's perspective, you can say, well done, you're getting all the benefits of helping, of getting the gay donors excited about your campaign again. But you're not taking the risk of looking like a loser if you come out in favor of an obviously losing side, right, before the election. So you can say a lot of things about Obama's position. It's crafty, it's slippery, it's not really what he personally believes, Carol. He's a constitutional law professor. He knows this is going to be decided on the Constitution. He could easily say there's a constitutional right to be treated equally under the law, and that includes marriage.
2 more minutes. Do you want to talk about Coble?
Oh, should we talk about Coble? But he doesn't. Just like for months, he's been lying. You know, finally, he's not lying. Obama's not lying to us anymore. That's yay! Obama's not publicly lying through his teeth to the American public about how he really feels about same-sex marriage. Yay! The president stopped lying through his teeth to us, Carol. Yay! What a courageous stand. All right. However, on the bright side, now, Carol, I have no idea whether this George Holding guy is going to be any better than Coble would have been. But I am so delighted to see Paul Coble go down. I really, really am. This is the 13th district that was gerrymandered to be, you know, totally Republican. And here comes Paul Coble. He's been on the Wake County Commissioners. He's going to be so mean, Carol, over the next few years. Paul Coble is gonna, as he watches, as Paul Coble watches George Holding's star rise higher and higher, and George Holding, a former U.S. attorney, prosecuted a bunch of cases, you know, blah-de-blah-de-blah. A lot of people are saying, oh, big things for George Holding. Although you and I, here in town, will always know that George Holding won this campaign only because his family and buddies kicked in a bunch of money on the side for him. They created a PAC, even though he said he was against special interest PACs. I mean, it's clear that George Holding is completely beholden to these people. But how much time we got?
We got like 25 seconds.
25 seconds. You and I will always know that George Holding got in because of his family and friends kicking in money. But Coble will have to watch his star rise while he just kind of sits here. And you know something, Coble, for what he did during this campaign, using gay and lesbian people as bait, despicable. He deserved to lose. I'm glad he lost. Hi, Paul.
Very mellow.